My heart is where the Hebrew home is. For where the heart is, that's where you find the Hebrew home. Hebrew home, Hebrew home. Good morning, Hebrew home. My heart is where the Hebrew home is. For where the heart is, that's where you find the Hebrew home.
Good morning, everyone. I am your host, Olivia Cohen, with a new hairdo, coming in live from the Dörfner Judaica Museum here at the Hebrew Home, and this is Good Morning Hebrew Home. Today is Monday, August 3rd, and the time is 10:31 a.m. I am back. I was on vacation last week. A vacation during this time is a little bit different than we normally would do, traveling and going places for many of us, but I thought today we don't have any guest on for today, but I would like to do a little bit of armchair travel, so stay tuned and join me. We're going to take a little travel to South America. So today, let's get into the weather. Today will be mostly sunny. Possible stray shower or thunderstorm may happen today, and temperatures will be rising to 90 degrees. Let's move to this day in history, August 3rd. 1923, Calvin Coolidge was sworn in as President of the United States after learning that President Warren Harding had passed away. He was sworn in, Coolidge was sworn in by his father, Colonel John C. Coolidge, at his father's farmhouse in Plymouth, Vermont. For all you sports fans out there, August 3rd, 1949, the Basketball Association of America, BAA, and the National Basketball League, NBL, merged to form the National Basketball Association, NBA. So that happened today. Also happening today, it is National Watermelon Day. So for anybody who loves watermelon, this is the time to celebrate watermelon. And it is also National White Wine Day. Any famous birthdays for today? We have Tony Bennett. Tony Bennett, who was born Anthony Dominic Benedetto, on August 3rd, 1926, in Astoria, Queens. I bet Lisa would know about this. New York City. He's an American singer whose range includes popular music, standards, show tunes, and jazz. The song most associated with him is I Left My Heart in San Francisco, which he recorded in 1962. During his long and illustrious career, he has sold more than 50 million records worldwide and won 15 Grammys and 2 Emmy Awards. His first #1 was Because of You in 1951, and followed that with Cold, Cold Heart and Rags to Riches in 1953. Do you guys remember any of these great songs? He is still active in his music career and still can be counted on his charity events in his 90s, providing a testament to his longevity in the business. Fun fact, I went to Frank Sinatra High School. That was at the time in Long Island City, Queens, New York. And Tony Bennett opened that school for his friend Frank Sinatra. So Tony Bennett often came to my high school. He came to a lot of our performances. I met him at a number of our cabaret shows that we would do. And his now wife, was my social studies teacher. She later became the vice principal of the high school. So I met Tony Bennett a number of times. Give us a call, guys, if any of you have met Tony Bennett, and if any of you love any of those songs or any other famous stories that you'd like to share of meeting any celebrity, let us know. You can call us by picking up any phone here in the home and dialing extension 2813. Again, that's 2813. let us know. Do you have any stories to share? We'd love to open up the mailbox and share one of the stories. Time for birthdays. We have resident birthdays Dominga C. and Jose G. Staff birthdays are Marie and Razia, both from nursing. So happy birthday, everyone. Today's lunch will be Sloppy Joe on a bun with mixed vegetables. And for dessert, peaches. Not watermelon, unfortunately, but peaches. Today's dinner, soup will be butternut squash soup. The entree will be macaroni and cheese, peas and carrots. And for dessert, shortbread cookies. So, that leads us to our portion of the armchair travel today. So I think the last time I was on, we talked about with Lisa, we had a positive news story about the turtle from the Galapagos. His name was Diego. And I had some feedback from some of our residents here that loved the story about Diego. So I wanted to share a little bit about Ecuador, specifically Quito, as my family is from there. And I had recently traveled, not recently, a couple years ago, traveled there. So I thought I would bring in some pictures and we would do some traveling and see some of those places. So please give us a call, anybody, if you'd like to travel to any place specific. If there's a place that you'd like to see on the show, I'd love to do more of these armchair travels with you all. And we can go places together. So we're going to pan over to the screen and we'll start with our first place. So we are going to Quito today, which is the capital of Ecuador. Sometimes it takes a backseat to the more well-known Galapagos Islands, which is where Diego the turtle was from. But Quito has a lot to offer tourists. They have a dozen historic churches, a wide variety of museums, and a lot of food, great food over there. So we'll see some of that today. And we're gonna start, our first place is El Panecillo. So El Panecillo actually is the little point that is standing up that statue there. It is on the south side of the old town, so a lot of places in Quito are around the area called Old Town, which is like an old colonial area. And it's perched high on the hill overlooking Quito, and it's one of the city's top attractions. This major landmark in Quito is home to La Virgen de Quito. It's a Madonna statue that was constructed in 1976 entirely of aluminum by Spanish artist Agustin de la Herran Matoras. I'm gonna mess that up. The views of Quito and the volcanoes, you can see the volcano in the back there, are epic, and you can catch a glimpse, and you could see all of that on a clear day. It could be cloudy sometimes. And to get the best view, they say you have to climb up the steps at the best of the statue. And the insider tip is to try and visit first thing in the morning before the clouds roll in. So that's El Panecillo. Our next image is El Mitad del Mundo. This is the middle of the world. So this is a sneak peek into the history of Ecuador and its indigenous people. They go to El Ciudad Mitad del Mundo. This is the national landmark of the equator. So it has several statues, a small village, an old school museum. But the museum has exhibits from highland and Amazonian tribes, which include their history, musical instruments, clothing, textiles, and more. And it is smack dab in the middle of the earth. So it's very cool to go there. And you can even do some fun things there, like experiments. They have you can balance an egg on the top of a nail. So the only place in the world where you can do that is at the middle of the earth. And so that is the middle of the world. And you can actually straddle the equator and be in both hemispheres. So it's really cool. I just looked at Tiffany to let her know that. All right, let's go to our next one. This is La Compañía. It is a beautiful church. There's a lot of churches in Quito, and you can literally walk to all of them when you're in there. But the one that they say, if you can only visit one single church in Quito, it should be La Compañía. So The extraordinary, this exterior, I have two pictures actually of it. This is the exterior, and it's really beautiful and grand. But if we go to the next image, this is the inside, and it is covered by 7 tons of gold leaf. I didn't take this picture. I accidentally went to take a picture when I went there, and I got in trouble because you're not supposed to take any pictures in this place. But this is what it looks like inside. It covers, the gold leaf covers all surfaces in excess, and it can only belong to the house of worship. It's often called Quito Sistine Chapel, so if anybody's been to Italy, you know that's over there. And it is located, the structure began they started building it in 1605, and it was completed 160 years later, which is crazy. It is well known for the decorative and expansive central area there that's all in gold, and it's considered the finest example of Spanish Baroque architecture in South America. So for anybody who's interested in architecture, that's really cool. All right, our next image is El Teleferico. I went on this, and if you don't like heights, you shouldn't go on it because it's very high up. And you can also, if you're not used to altitude, certain places in Quito, because it's so high up, you will get altitude sickness. So you basically go up in this little thing, and it takes you to the highest points of the city. It's a sky tram, and it's one of the highest aerial lifts in the world. The ride really is only 10 minutes, but it felt like a lifetime to me because I am scared of heights, but I went on it. But you will marvel at the views over Quito as it climbs up. It actually climbs up the side of a volcano, which is Volcano Pichincha, and it comes to a rest stop it's called Cruz Loma. So this is a little bit more adventurous. Visitors can hike, cycle. There's an amusement park over there. And there's a swing at the top for some very adventurous people, but you literally get the best views of Quito from that point. So that's El Teleferico. Our next image, where are we going? This is La Ronda, and let me find it in my paperwork, but La Ronda is one of the best preserved streets in colonial Old Town, so you can see it has like a lot of the old architecture. It's colorful and full of activity. It has cobblestone streets, and they're lined with cafes and galleries and artisans that share their craftsmanship with the public. And if you come early in the day, the area is sleepy and a great spot for a cup of coffee. It's literally just like a block, a little area. And later, though, in the nighttime, if you go, the street is humming with music and movement from the shopkeepers, the tourists. All of the restaurants have live music that you can listen to. And it's just a really, really great place. It's just tucked in away in Quito, and you have lots of vendors, and they have the best of local Quito artisans, and great spot for souvenirs and things like that, and just a really nice walk. So our next image, this is the Basilica. So you actually can climb, there's 2 steeples there. If you'll see, there's 2 of those really tall steeples, and I climbed up one of them. Again, if you're afraid of heights, this is not something to do, but I am afraid of heights, and I did it, and it was terrifying, but it's beautiful to go up. It's a tiny, tiny little ladder that you have to climb up once you get to this certain high point. And then you get up there, and it's just like you're on top of the city. You get a 360-degree bird's eye view from the twin bell towers. The climb it's a neo-Gothic tower, a lot of cool architecture stuff in Quito. It's not for the faint of heart, but no worries. An elevator, there's an elevator. Wow, I didn't know that. The elevator is available. I wish I took the elevator now. If possible, they say to arrange your tour early morning or late afternoon for the best photography lights. So any of our photographers out there, people who enjoy photography, That's the time to go, that they're saying. You have to keep your eyes peeled. There's a lot of gargoyles on the exterior. The sculptors have playfully carved indigenous animals of Ecuador into the exterior, such as armadillos, tortoises, birds, dolphins. And they actually replace traditional goblins and religious figures. So that's something different that the church did there. And inside's really beautiful, and they still hold mass. All these churches still hold mass, so you can still go there for actual mass and for tours. The next image that we have is, this is La Capilla de Hombre, or the Chapel of Man. And this is by, it's a museum. Actually, there's two parts to this, and I didn't show the other picture, but I should have. It is by an artist named is Guayas Amin, and the museum is also on the same area where his home was. They created a museum on the same piece of land. So you can actually go throughout his house, and that's now a museum, and you can see his work. And also you can come into this museum area where you can see Capilla de Hombre. So it's easy to overlook the story of indigenous population during travel, but there's no better place to learn than this powerful museum. Guayas Amin was an Ecuadorian master painter and sculptor of Quechua and Mestizo heritage who championed the story of the underprivileged. Located on a high bluff overlooking the city, the museum was completed in 2002, so it's pretty new, and it was created shortly after the artist's death. The Chapel of Man, La Capilla de Hombre, is dedicated to the struggles of the indigenous people both before and after the arrival of the Spanish explorers. The artist's enormous paintings fill the unique space, and the enormity of the subject matter is important for travelers to experience. The setting of this space, and this is true, I felt this too, is quite somber and dramatic, with plenty of intimate spaces to pause and ponder the artist's ideas and what he was going through. And so that is, he has a lot of other works. My favorite, and I also don't have a picture of that, my favorite piece of work by him is called Blue Quito, or Quito Azul. A lot of his work is kind of reminiscent of like Picasso. Tiff, what is that called when you use like almost like pieces together? Abstract, yeah. He's an abstract artist where it looks like he's putting pieces together, and it looks like some Picasso-esque work. I am not an artist, but that was my take on it. So that's some of the art over there. Our next image is La Iglesia San Francisco. So this is a really big church. It is Quito's first church, and also the largest religious complex in South America. The entire compound of buildings will transport visitors back to the 16th century. So you can close your eyes, and you might even hear the faint sounds of monks chanting in a muffled hush. Inside, along with an appropriate wood scent, there are wood carvings, and you can see, I didn't go out inside, I only went outside, but there's a crowning at the altar was an exquisite winged or dancing virgin sculpture, and the design of her dress and folded hands can be seen giving a free emotion. So inside it's very big. It's hard to take pictures on the inside, but this is how big it is on the outside. It's really, really amazing. And it has courtyard gardens too, and a fountain, and the dome of the church, which is where the monastery is. So that is that church. And then last but not least, I put some pictures of the food. There's so much food there that's so great. For any of our residents who enjoy or are Ecuadorian or who are familiar with these foods. The top one, where we have the lime, is called ceviche. So if anybody's had ceviche, a lot of other South American countries make ceviche, but Ecuadorians make it, everyone has their own little take, and Ecuadorians make it a little bit different. This is ceviche de camarones, which is shrimp ceviche, and this is actually, I think, different than others. Sometimes it's raw fish or something, but shrimp in this are cooked. And It has a lot of citrus in it, and you kind of just let it marinate, and it gets really good. And then you also include what they call chifles, or what are like fried plantains, or popcorn, or things like that, and you toss that in to the bowl, and you eat it together. And it is my favorite, actually. My parents just made this over the weekend, so I was able to have some of that. And then the second picture in the middle, like sandwiched in between, is a picture of empanadas de viento, or if you translate that, it's empanadas of air. They're really puffy empanadas, and they're like huge. You could get them in a place that we looked anywhere, but it's I had them in La Ronda that we looked at that street, and they're really puffy, and they just have cheese inside, and you eat them with putting some, I pour my sugar, but you put some sugar on top, and you have like the sweet and salty of the cheese, and they literally feel like air because they're so filled with air, and then the cheese kind of melts inside, and then you kind of like bite into them and you pop them, so that's fun. And then the last picture there, at the the third picture that you'll see at the end there are called lapingachos, and they're made of potato and cheese. A lot of things I have here are cheese. I like cheese, but these are lapingachos, and they're made with potato and cheese. You kind of cut into them, and the cheese is in there, and it's just really good. So very exciting. So many things to see and do. And I was only there for a few days and saw only those things, and there's so much more to see. But I think that's it for our armchair travel today. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Please give us a call if you do enjoy the armchair travels, if you'd like to go travel to other places. I personally love traveling. I've been to Iceland, I've been to Italy, I've been to Austria, I've been to Greece. So if any of those places sound of interest to you, please let us know. Give us a call on extension 2813. Let us know, or tell us places that you've gone and you'd like to see up on here to share with everyone else. So let us know if you like this new segment that we're doing. So that's it for armchair travel. We're going to move over to our positive news story for the day. I think I was a little faster than my teleprompter, but so I'm going to use paper. No, we're ready. Okay. So, animals. We love animals here, and this story says that dogs may be considered man's best friend, but new research says that pigs actually rival other pets in their adoration of human companionship. Miniature pigs became popularized as pets when the public began seeing them in homes with celebrities such as Miley Cyrus, David Beckham, Paris Hilton, and George Clooney. George Clooney's had a pet pig named Max, who lived for 18 years. So according to Hungarian researchers from the university in Budapest, pigs are as trainable as dogs, and unless they have a problem to solve, they turn to us for support in the same way that canine companions do. They say the similarities we found between the two species point to their similar capacities for engaging in communicative interactions with humans. That was a behavior expert who worked on the studies. This was called the Family Pig Project, which was launched in 2017 at the Department of Ethology in Budapest. The animals were raised in a similar environment as family dogs from as early as 6 to 8 weeks of age, which provides the basis for unique comparative investigations between these two species. Dogs already, as puppies, are known to be uniquely skillful in communicating with us, even without any specific training. This was said by Dr. Linda Gurenser. They were curious whether family pigs also exhibit similar communicative signals as dogs, and whether they spontaneously rely on human cues. The animals were observed behaving with an experimenter without the presence of food, and also after they had been fed. So the student explained, in the presence of food, both pigs and dogs oriented more towards the experimenter. They touched her more, often looked at her face more frequently. But as an interesting difference though, only dogs looked up at the human face when they did not expect to receive any food. In a second test, the animals were allowed to choose between two hiding locations several different times, and the experimenter always pointed at the one that contained the hidden piece of food. Without having been trained for this, only dogs followed the pointing, pigs did not. So pigs did not choose randomly either, but they rather followed a side preference strategy, going to the same hiding location over and over again. I think that's similar to our dogs that would go and hide their bones somewhere. She said dogs are known to look at humans in a problem-solving context to establish joint attention and initiate communicative interactions from an early age. They wanted to find out if that was specific just to dogs or would other companion animals do the same. So for our cat fans, similarly wolves and cats communicate less with humans than dogs in the same problem-solving context. But maybe it's because wolves are not domesticated and cats are apparently not a social species, but I disagree. So we designed a study to compare dogs' behavior with that of another domestic and social species, which was the pig. Pigs are renowned for their intelligence and cleanliness and can live up to 20 years. They can also quickly become loving companions and get along with cats. Some fans of these friends have even claimed they are more suited to being kept as domestic animals than dogs. The experimenter said species-specific predispositions might be responsible for the found differences. Dogs are naturally more dependent on and cooperative with humans, and this explains their unique success with interacting with us in the world. The study, which was published in Animal Cognition earlier this month, is also the first to analyze similarities and differences in family dogs and pigs' interactions with humans. They said we used the so-called unsolvable task paradigm, where the animal first faces a problem that he can solve, in our case an easy-to-open box with food inside. After some trials, the problem becomes unsolvable because the box is securely closed. When the box was first in the room without food in it, pigs and dogs performed similar human-oriented behaviors. The differences appeared when we put food in the box and opening it became an exciting challenge. Pigs were faster than dogs already in solving the task and getting the reward, perhaps due to their better manipulative capacities. Then when the task becomes unsolvable, dogs turn to humans more than before. So the dogs look to the humans first before the pigs did. And I think pigs are good at finding things. I think they find truffles in France and stuff like that. So we're finding that pigs are able to solve problems more independently and in comparison to dogs. So there's a bunch of similarities that they're saying, but they think the primary difference between pigs and dogs lies in the fact of the natural salience of the human as a social stimulus for dogs can facilitate learning about communicative cues without specific training. And furthermore, our results, they're saying, are more informative with regard to the potentials of involving miniature pigs in comparative research. So a lot of research with pigs now and seeing what they can do in comparison to dog, and dog is man's best friend. So give us a call. Would you have a pig as a pet? I know I definitely would because I love animals. So give us a call. What are your thoughts on pigs versus dogs and cats? Again, that's extension 2813. And again, let us know if there's any good news stories that you'd like us to share on the show. Remember to tune in later today. We have exercise with Deborah at 1:30 and your hip parade with Larry at 3:30. This is all on Channel 8. Don't forget you can catch this episode of Good Morning Hebrew Home on Channel 88 at 6:30 or on YouTube. Join us tomorrow with host David Pomeranz. Once again, this has been Olivia Cohen with Good Morning Hebrew Home. We will see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place, same channel. Cohen out.
Hebrew home, good morning, Hebrew home. My heart is where the Hebrew home is. find a